Hi, I'm Katharine Eagan from HART, Hillsborough Area Regional Transit, and you're watching Tampa Bay Community Network.
Hi, I'm Bill Hodges, and this is Spotlight on Government, and I have one of my very favorite guests on today, Katharine Eagan, the CEO of HART. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for the invitation. It's always a great time to share and to talk about what's going on in our community.
Well, it's Christmas time.
It is.
And there's a lot of people moving, and traffic is horrible, and you're going to tell us how to do away with some of that traffic, right?
Wow, well, I can tell you how we can keep it from getting so bad. I don't know that anyone can get rid of it to start with, but...
Well, if we knock a few cars off the road, that would be a help.
Well, if we knock them off, there would be fewer cars, but we're growing so much as a community. If I could take 2 cars off, 3 more cars will be there tomorrow.
Ouch!
But we love growth. We love it's great for our economy. It's more options for kids to stay and work, or jobs for anyone to get to, more places to shop. So what can we do as a county's transportation agency to make it as minimal as possible, as small a dent to your travel and your day, and give you an option so if you want to get out of your car, you have a really attractive, easy thing that will help you do that.
Well, I believe in positive attitude.
Yes.
And that's a neat spin. While I'm sitting there in a traffic jam, I ought to be thinking that, wow, this is progress. We're doing well.
We are victims of our own success, we are. And who wouldn't want to come here? We have low cost of living, we have no state income tax, which our military members always tell us they love. We have so many great things for families, great places to get your first home, your second home. It's a great community to be able to support and to connect the dots.
HART is a very large organization. How many people do you have in HART?
We have about 800 employees.
Okay.
Over half the people who work for us are driving a bus, a van, or a streetcar. Over another 150 people are working directly on maintenance, so keeping the vehicles running, keeping the shelters clean, doing paint work, the whole shebang. We are really, really heavy on half our budget is salaries. You add benefits, so 2/3 of our budget is taxpayer dollars going into the folks who are actually operating and maintaining that service on the street.
Now, are you just limited to Hillsborough County?
We currently serve Hillsborough County. We have a few routes which connect from Pasco and from Pinellas. By our charter, we can expand, but currently most of our work is focused in Hillsborough County.
Some of the things that I hear as I'm talking to people, and I live outside of the city of Tampa. Well, it's great for the Tampa people, but what do we get out of it? So can we talk a little bit about the benefits that the people living in Sun City Center, in Ruskin, these areas are getting from your organization?
Well, that is an excellent question, and given that the entire county is paying a millage for us, we need to be able to answer that. So when we're looking at the southern part of our county, let's look at Hillsborough Community College, or let's look at Amazon. A lot of the kids coming to that HCC campus are not just 5 feet down the road. They're coming from across the county. We get them there. We have a semester pass, which makes it a little more affordable for a student to enroll. And the data is very clear. It's not transportation the first week. It's transportation at the end of a semester that will doom somebody's career. You get a full semester pass. Now that student can get to HCC for the whole 4-month period. And once they're getting down there, they're making friends. They are taking a trip to go to Publix to spend a little bit more money. So we're able to support that generator. And Amazon's another great example.
Hey, you mentioned Amazon earlier when we were talking before we went on the broadcast. I never thought of the people going to work there.
Absolutely.
There's thousands.
It's a huge employment center. It's very shift driven, so that there's a time when everyone's coming and a time when everyone is going. And the county, when they opened at Amazon, folks were coming from Brandon and East County, and they were trying to get to Amazon about 7 in the morning, come home at 5 or 6 at night. Well, lucky for us, we have a route that goes from East County and Brandon directly to Amazon, stops 15 minutes before your shift to get you to work, comes back 15 minutes later so you can walk out and we can get you back
Cool.
in one seat. And think, without that kind of connection, everyone at Amazon would be driving.
Oh, and there's only one exit to Amazon. That's the 674
right,
exit.
and it backs up.
That's awful.
It does. So now, not only are there fewer cars in your neighborhood, now folks who are really looking at some entry-level jobs don't have to choose between up to $800 a month on average for a car and insurance. They can put that money toward their rent. They can put it toward after-school care for their kids. So we open up the ability for folks to have jobs there that never would have been able to make that connection. So those are some examples where South County is going to benefit. Even if you're not catching that bus, it makes economic development possible, and it gets folks who are going to work in that community all over our county.
But I think the key word here is folks are going to get to work. There's so
Absolutely.
many people out there saying, well, they just want to lay around, they want this, they want that, they want payments coming to them. But you know, if you give a person a job, many of them will show up.
They absolutely
Some
will.
won't, but a lot will.
But the one who wants to get there, the lack of transportation should never be a barrier. Most of us will go about our daily lives. 99% of our county won't use transit, and that's consistent through the country. So I might not use the bus, but when my 3-year-old and my 4-year-old get into a fight and my 3-year-old busts his lip on a Saturday afternoon, somebody at that hospital took a bus to get there. And because we have a really great network.
Ooh, I didn't think of that
think
either.
of this. Since we have a strong network, that person could visit their family on the weekend or on their day off and grocery shop and go to church and do all their things, and they're ready and refreshed when we show up in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. Or think at 3 in the morning, if you're ever in the emergency room, you want to know that the folks who are working for you could get a good day's or night's rest and not have to sleep in a break room under fluorescent lights because we weren't there to get them home. So again, you might not use that bus, but the people who make your life possible are using this service.
It's powerful.
It
really
is, it is.
Most of us don't think of that at all. You know, honestly, I've got a good car. I really like my car. I'm sort of addicted to getting in my car and going when I want to go and come back. But there's a lot of people who don't have a good car.
Well, there's
I remember times when I didn't,
Right.
and I had to use a public transportation.
We will have more passenger trips on our buses today than there will be cars on Bruce B. Downs. Think about that. And not everyone in this county uses Bruce B. Downs, but if you got rid of it, what would the impact be? And that's the same thing with your transit system. There are more individual trips happening on transit today than there will be cars on Bruce B. Downs today. It's just as vital.
It does have a big thing on employment, but profits and a lot of other things, I would assume.
Sure. Well, for employers out there, they can definitely attest that a good, reliable workforce is a game changer for you. If you are close to a transit stop, folks are not calling you and telling you their car didn't start. Our bus is going to start. That connection is going to happen. And technology's made it so you can have on your smartphone or call up, know exactly when the bus is showing up. You can buy your fare on your phone now. It's very, very convenient. So for an employer, it's definitely going to set you apart as a place where somebody who wants to go to work has an easier time coming to see you.
You know, it's fabulous. You're talking about pulling it up on your phone and that. And my immediate thought was, yeah, but there's a lot of old people that don't do that. But the other day I was sitting in a VA and everybody there was my age. There were 7 people there waiting. 6 of them were on smartphones doing something, whether it was a game or what they were doing, sending text messages, whatever. So this technology is extremely important.
It absolutely is. And you're right, it's a stereotype that folks don't have smartphones. Think about our country, we're so spread out from families, and that smartphone, you can FaceTime your grandchildren. And one of our patrons was joking that she FaceTimes her grandkids every day because they recognize her and not the other grandmother now. Who knew? So this technology is everywhere. And for folks who don't have it, we always have a customer service number that you can call to find out where your vehicle is going to be. There's always someone who can help you. But the technology is pushing where we can really be more effective, right? So if someone has a phone that tells them, hey, the bus you're trying to catch is running early, get off here instead of here, It's the same as Google for your car, but it takes all the guesswork out. You feel more in control, and your trip is a lot more likely to happen. You're not late for work. You're happier. Your boss is happy.
Well, staying in contact is the big thing with these phones.
Yes.
We just got off of a Carnival cruise. They charged us $5 for the whole thing, and we were able to stay in touch with our whole party by texting back and forth for the whole
Wow.
trip for $5.
Well, and how convenient was that?
That was really convenient.
So
And
you'll
if you
do
think
it
of your
again.
buses, now many of them do have Wi-Fi on them.
Every
don't
bus
they?
has Wi-Fi. So
Every one?
Every bus. So
I thought it was just certain
every
routes.
single bus. So
And I pay attention.
we had a report come in this morning from one of our staffers. He is a retired Army, retired Ranger. He heads up our project management office. He wrote his entire report on the way in because of Wi-Fi connections. He was able to get that work done. Every single bus has Wi-Fi.
Wow. I don't think a lot of people realize that. And a lot of us, now I have unlimited data, but data is slow.
It sure is. And once you're on a bus with this Wi-Fi network, now you're buffering data. You can download your video, watch whatever you want on Netflix, or do mobile banking. I don't know that I would, it's for you for security. Whatever you would do out in the public, you can still go ahead and do that. You can finish your Christmas shopping with Amazon.
Let your boss know
There
you're on your way.
Go. Hi, boss. Here I am. Take a selfie. Maybe Snapchat.
There you are.
All these things that I
I'm
don't
on the
use
bus and
either,
I'm
right?
coming.
There we go. So it's been super helpful, and folks really enjoy it. It also will help us move into a new way to pay your fare in early 2018. You'll be able to use a smart card. You can have a bank account or use your phone. So when you get on, bloop, you just flash your phone.
What are the fares, roughly? I'm not asking you to tell me every line, but what's a generalized fare in our vicinity?
Well, they're pretty easy to remember. A one-way trip is $2 cash.
Okay.
A day pass is $4. And a
Now,
monthly
a day fast does what for me?
right, unlimited on local routes. And so these
And
are local
what
route
is a
prices.
local
A
route?
local route is one that stops, it's what you think of for a bus service. So a
I mean,
bus
could
that's
I
here on
get from
Fletcher-
Sun City to the airport on a local route?
You could. It's not going to be the fastest
It's not
trip.
gonna be the
It's not going to be
easiest,
the
huh?
fastest trip, but
I could get there.
You could, and a thing for folks to remember is even in cars, we have a really big county. So if it's going to take you an hour in your car, if it's 2 hours on the bus, it's a lot of time, but it was still a really big county to cover.
But I could watch a movie while I was
You
going.
could, probably half of a season of Game of Thrones if that's your thing. Get all caught up with The Walking Dead. So yes, you can do that. The airport to Sun City Center.
How would it, let's just, if I wanted to go from Sun City Center to the airport, how would I plan that route, or how would I know to do that?
Excellent question. A few different ways. We use the Google Trip Planner, just like most Americans do with their car.
Really?
When you type into Google and it gives
Well,
you
it
a
shows
trip.
you a little bus?
It sure does. So at the top there's the blue bar and you've got a little running man and a car. Click on the bus, it
Yeah.
converts you to transit. And then the arrow that you would click to plot for your car will plot you for transit.
Really?
Now, because we're so smart with our buses, it's pushing real information to Google, so it tells you, okay, Bill, you're going to walk out of your house in 7 minutes, and based on how fast your phone gets carried when you walk, it's 5 minutes to your bus stop. In 2 minutes, the bus will be there if it doesn't break down or doesn't, something doesn't happen. And we have very excellent maintenance, so that bus is not going to break down. So it tells you when to
Wouldn't
leave.
dare.
Would not. It says when to leave, when to get to the stop, and it tells you how long you'll be on that bus, tells you where you get off, where you transfer, if you have to walk, if it's at the same stop, and it tells you exactly when that other bus is showing up too. So it's just like Google for your car, but you're going to let us drive and let us face all the stress and frustration. So
And I can
that's
get
with
out
Google.
there for $2, or do I have to buy
If,
different bus, or do I have to pay
This
the
is
$4?
many years away for you, but for folks 65 or older, it's $1 each way or $2 for the day. So something for you to look forward to.
Thank you.
There you go.
If I did that, instead of got to take 3 different buses,
Well, you can take 2.
do I get a transfer?
The day pass will cover your transfer. You don't have to get that separate little piece of
Okay,
paper.
so it'd be a regular person $4 to get to the airport.
And for the seasoned patron, $2.
Okay.
Yes, and you would take the one bus coming. You have a
That's better than the $40 that somebody now wants to charge me to go out there.
Absolutely. And now with the bus, with the app, One Bus Away or Google Trip Planner, you know exactly where your bus is. It takes all the guesswork out. You have a local route or an express route from Sun City Center. We'll get you into downtown. There you connect to the bus that goes every half hour out to the airport and drops you off right at the terminal. You walk on in, check your bag, there you go.
For $4.
For $4.
And the seasoned traveler, too.
Yep.
There's got to be some reason to get old.
There are benefits, right? You put up with the
There
full
are
price
benefits,
long enough.
that's correct.
Yes, yes.
That sounds like a really good deal.
Well, it's we could make
Will it tell us how long it'll take us to get on
It
that trip
does.
plan?
It'll tell you when you get there. So it says you can leave your house now, and this is when you should be arriving. So that's the cool part. It tells you when to transfer. It tells you if you'll miss a transfer. It tells you when you're arriving. You can do that in Google, and again with the app will trip plan for you as well. So I'm going from here to there, and when are my buses showing up?
Now let's tell them the app again.
One bus away.
One bus away. That is it one numeral or is it
The
one?
word one with the O-N-E, all
Okay.
one word. It just started off at the University of Washington. So when folks pull it up in the App Store, it will say the University of Washington. It's us, it's okay. This is also in use in New York City, Washington, D.C. So if that's where you're flying, the same app will get you around town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool.
Okay. What do you think are the major needs that you have as CEO of HART? What can those of us out here in the great unwashed do for you to make HART a better for us?
Well, first and foremost, the service we have is only as good as it's meeting the needs of the folks who are using it, whether you're using it as a passenger or you're a professor at a school and you need your students to get there, or you are an employer, or you are a parent whose child is going to a magnet school and you need to get them to after-school activities. So we absolutely need to hear back from people of what they see and what they value when they're not driving themselves. Not thinking just about a bus, but get beyond the bus. If you weren't driving yourself, what would that have to look like? And make sure we know. We did nearly 300 community events last year, so we're always out and about. Folks can go to the Go HART website and give us the information. We always answer suggestions and comments. And this year we'll be out through the county doing an overhaul to the bus service. We are fantastic with buses. When we look at all around the country of late night service, weekend, et cetera, we're great, but we're very aware the bus is not the solution for everywhere in Hillsborough County. And, and late at night and on the weekend, it's not the most cost-effective solution.
No, those buses are big, and
they
I don't know
are.
What's the cost to run per hour of one of these buses? It's going to
average out about $65 an hour. So depending on how
That's
many,
less than I thought.
That's which is great. But if there's two people late at night, that's not cost-effective.
No, it's not.
So as we're going through this process this year, we want to be really hearing from folks what they value, what do they want to see. Are these places that would love to have a ride share and they want something their phone is dispatching? Do they want a vehicle?
Okay, let's talk about ride share.
Let's talk about that.
As I hear these things, I want to clarify them for everybody. Tell me about ride share.
So ride share is the model we normally think. They're transportation network companies now. It's TNC. But a ride share is someone is driving a car and they're going to take you for part of your trip. Different from a cab service, it's always out there, and the whole thing it does is connect round and about. Rideshare, there could be someone else in your car, there might not be. The example a lot of folks might have heard of is Uber and Lyft.
Okay, yeah.
Until a few weeks ago, they were not regulated in Hillsborough County. So folks would take them, but they weren't in the bucket of things which had regulation for background checks, for insurance, for vehicle inspections.
Which I really kind of feel they should.
Well, I think, if a consumer is going to use a service, there's a point at which, whoever's out there regulating it has to make a decision of if people really, really want this, are you not going to let them use it, or are you going to try to find the safest way to do it? I mean, we're here in constituent service, so if folks say, I want X, for me, I'm not a policymaker, I'm a deliverer, I'm an executor of service. It's my job to figure out how to bring it to them. So I appreciate there's a lot of nuance.
I'm not a nanny government. I don't want the government doing everything for me, but I think there's some areas of safety and things like that.
Yeah, if you're driving, right. If you're driving, I don't want to think the engine's held together with a rubber band, right?
There you go.
And there's a different statute for that. But we heard from folks all around the county that they wanted something like Uber or Lyft. And in fact, our head of service development went to drive for Lyft for 2 months. So 60-year-old guy from Iowa, tootling around in his Camry.
Really?
Isn't that great? Yeah. He said, best way to learn it. And he came back and he said, wow, the software is great, the dispatching is great. There's no reason in the world we would compete with them. We'll never build such a good tool. Why not find a way to bring that into our universe? So I'm happy to announce it on November 14th this year, we kicked off a transit-operated rideshare service.
Okay.
And it comes here, actually, this taping location in the innovation area.
Okay.
It runs 3 miles from the University Area Transfer Center near Livingston and Fletcher. There's a zone in Carrollwood that runs from 3 miles at Dale Mabry and Fletcher. And then in Brandon, within 3 miles of Brandon Mall and Brandon Hospital, you can get a ride share. So what does that mean? You can download our app, which is HART Hyperlink, and you can register and request a trip on your phone, or you can call a customer service number, because lack of a phone should not be a barrier to transportation. You can pay with a credit card if that's easy for you, or you can pay cash. It's a pilot program, so the charge is $3 per person.
Per trip?
Per trip. So
Okay.
you get in, so it's 10 o'clock, you just got off work at the mall, you're in an apartment 2 miles away, for $3 we'll get you to your house.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great. For us, our vendor is charging us another $7 a trip, and that's paid for from a combination of a Florida Department of Transportation grant and from our local funds. So we end up paying $7 to get that person home instead of that $65 bus. So win, win, win. The person who's waiting knows you're showing up because they spoke to you or they use the app. The bus operator who's on my regular payroll got to go home earlier, so he's rested, he can come home. And our private partner is carving out a business case that they can take around the country and say, this worked in Hillsborough County, let me bring it to you in Mobile, Amarillo, all these places where folks would like to see a rideshare type of service, but maybe there's not enough of a market for an Uber and a Lyft to be there. And at 4 in the morning, if you need to go to work, you don't care who's taking you. This can commit that we'll be there within half
So
an
that's
hour.
within a 3-mile zone.
3-mile radius, yep,
Okay.
as a crow flies. So if it's
From a
7 miles
center
from a
point.
center point. And we're going to
Okay.
see how this works based on this information. We'll be expanding. Our friends at Florida Hospital are very interested in this. A lot of folks come in an ambulance. Well, how do you get them home, right?
that's true.
They're certainly not driving themselves.
Right.
So there's a lot of places this could work. This could potentially work downtown for hockey games and special events. And it opens a door for autonomous vehicles in the future. Can those all come together? So there's a lot going on.
Now that's something that's really interesting,
It's pretty
autonomous
cool.
vehicles. I'm starting to see more and more of this on the web.
Well, does your car have a backup camera on it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any parking
I
assist
love
or
that.
anything?
That's why I bought that car.
My husband too.
My other car I didn't need to trade in, but I wanted that back. If I'm going to hit something, it's because I'm going backwards.
Well, it would have been cheaper for me to get a new car than drive into my mailbox and fix my car, which is going in next week. So that's a testimonial.
So yes, it does.
You have that. Do you have the cruise control that's adaptive? You know, newer cars now, they slow down when you get close to the car in
No,
front
it
of
goes.
you. Yeah, well, but that's
Makes a
an
noise.
intelligent vehicle.
Yeah.
Does your mirror give you a light when the car is getting close to you? Is that on your car?
Not on.
How about you got
not
the
on
camera?
The Honda,
So,
I don't.
Well, you might see commercials of people parking.
When
They
I turn signals come on, it
there you
shows
go.
me.
You might see commercials of cars where people take their hands off the steering wheel and the car parallel parks. Better than most of us ever will. You've seen those?
I never parallel.
Well, there we go. But why
I
should
used to
you?
be able to do it, but I haven't done it in so long.
But why should you if your car has sensors and cameras and radar and can do it for you? We're all using
I just
that
love
already.
things to be done for me.
Well, then you need an autonomous vehicle. That's what you need. And they're coming. The technology's there. HART has the first grant in the state of Florida to get a pilot program. We're going to test this out downtown on a transit corridor. See how comfortable are people using it. Can you do remote monitoring? Do you need a person on it? What happens with traffic? And from those lessons, that technology will get better for everybody's car.
I always try to give my guests the opportunity to take it 1 or 2 minutes and talk directly to the audience about anything they'd like to say to them.
So we'll go very extemporaneous. It is an honor to be able to serve our community. We have a fantastic staff, I have to brag. 14% of our staff are veterans. So 114 people who work with us have already served their country, and now they're here serving our community. We look like our neighborhoods. And we are committed to connecting you to all the great things that make this a place that all of us want to live. So if somebody is interested in doing business, wants to work with us, or even give us some feedback on how they see their transportation future going, we want to hear from them. And we're headed in a future for rideshare, autonomy, technology, and let's take this trip together.
Well, it's important that I give you, and if I haven't asked you a question that you wanted particularly to have answered, then this is that opportunity.
No, how much time do we have?
Oh,
Just kidding.
We have time to do a whole nother show if you'll
That
come back.
sounds fantastic. Thank you very
But
much.
we're down to about 2 minutes, and let's go back to the autonomous cars, because I think that is really sharp. One of the things I read about Google and their autonomous cars was the cars were just too polite. They weren't able to cross streets because they kept waiting for others to do it.
That's a real concern. And we learned from that through these trials. We learned the autonomous cars are electric, so they're silent. So if you have a visual impairment and you're listening for a car, you're not going to hear the autonomous vehicle. So do you beep? Do you add something else to it? It's really neat to see what you don't know. And how exciting that the first place in the country where autonomous vehicles are running around for transit is probably going to be Tampa, Florida.
I think it's
Whoever would have
truly
thought we'd say
exciting.
that? It is.
I don't think the rest of the country realizes the jewel that's here on Tampa Bay.
Absolutely.
And I think that, I know Santiago and several others are trying to get that message out, but all of us have to pick up your phone or your tablet or whatever, send a message out, say this is the best place in the world, because it could mean somebody's thinking about moving down here. It is so much fun to have you on the show, and I really do want to have you come back on.
But we're delighted to be here. Thanks for giving us the opportunity for us to talk about what's going on. And again, it's a great community, so anything we can do, any information we can get to keep it being great, this is a wonderful way to start that process.
It is a great community. I'm Bill Hodges. This is Spotlight on Government. You're unique, you're special, you're great. Tell yourself so often because you are, And Katharine Eagan, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Really appreciate it. And we look forward to having you back. I'm going to
you.
hold you to that.
Yes, sir.
See you on the next Spotlight on Government.